Hi friends, uh, I'll be showing you, just see that sketch. I'll be making this kind of design, development through draping process. Okay, so as you can see the design, I'll just first mark with my chalk the contour lines, the shape upon which the drape has to be done. Okay, so as you can see the design, I have taken this point and marked the this portion as the area where the shapes will be for the neckline. Okay, so this is the neckline which I'll be making. Okay, and then this is the armhole point, right, underneath from where the fabric will be. And if you remember, I've given some cuts also, right? So the cuts are actually crossing from this center portion of the chest, and it's going at the navel, approximately at the navel. So this is a line which I'll be continuously creating, and the line can go down till the hip. Okay, so this is the line which needs to be cut till the hip portion. Okay, and similarly there will be another cross like this. Okay, which I'll be doing it till here, right? So since this is very symmetrical, design, I'll be just doing one side of the drape. There may be a center joint. I'll be just doing one side of the drape, and then I'll cut it out and do the other side, and the bottom will be flaring up straight. So I've got a fabric here which is just a net fabric. I've got a simple net fabric, tulle fabric or tulle, right? And I can place it here. So I'm using this net fabric, but you people can use markin, poplin, muslin, or the calico material, right? And you can just this is transparent, so I can see the line, but doesn't matter whether you don't need to create a transparency to see the visibility. You can just place it here little bit, and then again you can redraw the lines that you can do, right? So what I'll do is, first and foremost, I have to understand the direction of the fabric, because I want it to be hugging and body fitting. So this portion I wanted to be along the selvage, because this selvage portion actually gives me a good stretch, this portion, right? So this part which I'll be making with selvage. So I'll be placing the selvage material, all right, the material like this, and I'll be cutting out this portion, this triangle portion, this area, right? Similarly, I'll be using this area on this other side, and this portion can be cut separately, right? So let's see, I've got some pins here, and I'll be using this fabric because there is a stretchability here. So here, because the fabric is to be stretched but not too much, the fitting should be such that there mustn't be any puckering, no gathering. Okay, and you can just cut the material in such a manner so that there is no gathering over here. The gathering has to be removed, right? So first I'll be taking this portion plain, because whatever excess fabric I can pull it that side. So I need to understand that this portion has to be flat. So I have to be very conscious and very cautiously have to make sure that this portion of the material is actually falling straight, and which is falling properly, fitting on the body, and there is no puckering. Okay, so this is one part of the side portion which I just developed, right? And then I'll have to make sure that this extra fabric, I'll have to remove this side, right? So you have to slowly, very slowly and gradually hold the fabric and place certain pins here. The fabric is going to automatically fall there, and this portion you have to remove this portion. So this is actually a dart manipulation method where you contour fit the body. That's it. Okay, so this portion, as you can see, the fabric is not going to pull this side too much, so I'll be making sure that the fabric can be pulled backward, right? So I'll be taking this extra fabric and pull it back at the center, at the side seam. Okay, and this is how it's going to be. So when the stretching is done, when the stitching is done, it will actually fall fit. So I'll be cutting out the extra material from the remaining portion. So let's see how to cut this out. So what I'll do is with the help of scissor, I'll keep allowances here, and this allowance needs to be kept according to the provision of size that you wish to, because we usually end up making this kind of garment on a size 8 or a size 10. Okay, you can go with a higher size or a lower size depending upon your availability of the dress form, and later on you can do the truing. Truing is a correction. Truing is a correction that you do later on, so that you can do after you actually want to drape it on the body of the person, whosoever sizes. Okay, here I'll be keeping extra provision. Here I'll be keeping extra provision because I don't know who will be wearing, so I'll be keeping at least 2 inches seam allowance for the front as well as the back also. So right now I'm not measuring because I can see 2 inches here, because this is the side line. As you can see, the side seam line is properly indicated with the help of this thread. Okay, and so this 2 inches is noticeable here. So I'll be cutting it out straight from here, going 2 inches, and till where the marking was, there is a straight line marking here. I'll be taking ½ an inch allowance, because this allowance is not required too much here, because this requires to be joined with the bottom portion. This fabric structure is required to be joined with the bottom flare of the skirt. Okay, so that is to be joined, that layer, to make it look like a gown. So here I'll be using this ½ an inch extra, not more than that. And then this shape I can gradually go down. So what I'll do, I'll remove the pin here and place the pin here at the inside portion, so that would be better. So this way you can actually create the drape. So you can see what I've done here. I've cut out the one piece of fabric which is draped, and this drape is to be joined with another piece here, and the same drape needs to be duplicated for this portion, right? And this extra material that you can see here, that can be lifted up or down, or the side portion. As you can see, when I pull it up, there is no puckering. It's very smooth, right? So you can see that is very smooth. And this is how the body contouring shape is done. There is a dart. There is already a hidden dart at the upper portion of the bust and the bottom portion of the bust at the center ab. Okay, there is a dart. So this is one part which I need to replicate for this side, and this is another part which I need to do at this portion, right? So I wanted individually one piece this, right? So let's cut off the next part, which is this one. Similarly, what I'll do, this needs to be stretching again. So I'll be putting the fabric in an angle keeping allowance on this side so that both the sides the cutting is done properly. You have to remember to hold the fabric properly, otherwise it will become very clumsy for you all. This is an idea just how you can do a garment, the gown, which I'm just showing you out of the sketch which I just mentioned. Okay, so so that you can play around with different contouring. It doesn't require too much clumsiness. So I'm taking that shape of the body which I actually talked about here. I have to remember not to cut the thread there. There's a white thread which is passing down. So the pin has to be lifted up, placed it here. And this is the center part, center portion which needs to be joined. Okay. And this extra fabric, so I have to remove this. I don't need this material now. I can remove it. So this extra material which is lying here, it needs to be also trimmed down. So I'll keep the allowance. Make sure there is a nice scissor which you can handle it well, because I'm holding the scissor in a very different way and cutting it out according to my convenience. So you need to hold it here so that it joins. It joins with a seam line, and this material you don't need it, right? So you can see that there are two pieces, one at the center portion and one on the side, and there is a curvature of the body. The contouring is done, right? And there is a style line. This style line is created. So same piece, this and this, I'll be putting it here. And then I'll have another free flowing fabric, okay? And similarly, I'll have to manage to make it at the back. But at the back, I haven't decided yet on my sketch, but I wish that the back should have a continuation with this line, with the bottom line, okay? I'll just show you by holding my camera a little down that how the bottom should look like. See, the bottom should actually continue with this line, right? So there's an extra allowance, so the fabric should be continuing like this, okay? And it will actually continue like this. So there will be a V formation at the bottom. There's a V formation at the bottom because there will be one line coming from here and there's another line which is coming from here. So they will actually form a V, you know, at the bottom. And the back portion is still to be decided because I haven't decided anything for the back. Maybe, yeah, for the top portion, the string is not yet visible. Here, at this portion, there is a string which needs to be connected till the back, where the back is actually ending here. So that will actually give me a strap, a spaghetti strap that is going to be holding the entire body. And on one side, there can be a zip that can be attached, okay? So let me cut out these pieces and place it here also. Okay, so I have to open this out and trace it out and make two more pieces, correct? Okay guys, you can see that I have cut out the pieces, okay? I've symmetrically cut out the pieces and I've attached it with the help of pin, the draping pin. So this is a line on the body and the joints are also aligned, and you can see the seam line, side seam line, and there's an extra provision for stitching at the back and making adjustments for the variant sizes, okay? And this is one stitch which is going to be joined here, and there is a center portion which is also to be joined, and this is how the front portion is connected. And then we have to actually work for the back now. When we want to work for the back, since the back is going to be no cut, till now I don't prefer to have cuts, okay. So I just can manage to give one center cut if possible, because there will be a dip at the depression here, okay. That is, I have to gather the fabric and put it here, or I have to place 2 darts here to make it more properly fitting. So it's up to us to actually decide whether I want to give the dart, because after this dip there is a volume which is coming out for the hip. So it's very important that I need to give the contour at the side, and I have to probably make a dip here. So maybe 1 cut or 2 cuts here would actually help me creating the fitting proper. So what I'll do first and foremost, I'll be picking up my extra fabric which I have here. You don't need to take the entire material because it's too clumsy to work. You can just measure the length of material you require, and then you can fold it in half. So what I'll do, I'll just quickly fold this into half and measure the length, whatever length of material I require till here, and I'll just cut it off and then place it to make the draping as fast as possible. So I've taken a piece of fabric wide enough, and I have to take it on fold, and I have to place the on fold of the fabric at the center here. So because both the sides is going to be proportionate, so I'll be folding the fabric and place it here at the center. And I told you that I want to have a hidden dart here, this contour dart here. Regularly there are the fish darts at the waist, full dart or the fish dart at the waist, but maybe not 2 darts, maybe 1 cut will actually give better, because otherwise there will be too much clumsiness in the design. Because in fashion garments, especially for the gowns, you don't prefer to give too many cuts, okay. So let's see, maybe I'll just put it here, keeping allowance, extending out. I have to make sure that I hold the material in such a manner so that the extra material is not forced to stretch. They have to naturally fall on the body, naturally or neutrally fall on the body. So I'm not forcing the stretching of the fabric too much. So I pinned it here, and I'll keep stitching allowance on this side, okay. So here I need it till this point where the stitching of the bottom ends, and probably I'll be shifting this extra fabric along the center portion, because that is where I need to shape up the dart line, contour the dart line. So at the center I'll pin here. Okay, I'll just show you at the bottom also how the pinning is done. So here I have to shift the dummy. I hope it's visible now. Okay, till here I need to cut off, okay, because the back portion is cut till here. Okay, so I'll have to grade it downward like this and cut it here, and this has to be taken care, right? So this fabric which is coming in extra will be removed, the excess one. So let me place it on the center line and cut off the extra ones, extra material. If I do not remove the extra material, it is very difficult to actually do the entire garment on my by just simply stretching. So here from the center line there will be again 2 inches extra. This is a demo for this kind of stylization and cuts and pattern. I request all of you that you can experiment with the help of this kind of dress form. Those who still haven't got a dress form and are very interested and enthusiastic about creating their own drape garment in future may actually think of purchasing a dress form like this. If you can manage to get a dress form of your own, it would actually help you in making beautiful pattern, beautiful shape, right? You can experiment. So this is how it is cut. At the center, I need to chop off the excess amount. So you can see this portion is too much, this is less, and this is even lesser. So why this happened? Because the hip portion is broad, the waist is very narrow, and the upper back is almost a little lesser than the hip. So you can see there is a curve. There is a curve which has appeared. So this actually is a dart portion. This is a dart portion which has occurred. Here this extra fabric has to be lifted up or lifted down. Okay, so let me remove this excess fabric, and when stitched this will actually give you a very interesting fit. Now there has to be a line to be cut here, because you can see I have got a chest line, I mean armhole. From the armhole there is a line which has to go down. So I'll be making sure that this line is dipping down, going down. Okay, so it has to be stylishly cut down, and we have to manage to make sure that it actually gives you a nice fall of an angle like a V formation, which I wish it this way. You can probably think something else you wish like, because this portion is not sketched by me, so I haven't thought like that what is going to be. So now after this portion, so now you can see I have stretched it a little bit here, and this stretching will be done, and there will be a stitching line. So this excess fabric will go up and down, and there is a contour shape here, contouring, okay, and there will be a curvature. So at the back it is finished this way. So let me take out this piece and connect it here, so that you can understand what I actually meant it so far by making it double fold. Okay, so let me instead pin up along this center portion. So what I have done is, like, I have pinned up, I have opened one layer, and I am shifting it the other side, on the other side, and I am pinning it here almost on this side. So the center portion remains fit. Center portion is stitched along with the help of a pin. I just held it tight, okay, and this is going to be stretched and stitched. This actually doesn't take too much time, you know, if you are doing it with the help of all the of materials and dummies. So this body is almost ready. So you can see, just I have to just take it out and cut out on a nice material that I really require to develop with it the garment. So I can create interlining, I can give a fabric fusing or whatever, or you can, if you want to make it transparent, you can just leave it like that, and you can create bust pads and all, okay, and all the other decorations. So this is how this portion is done, okay. And you guys know, like, how to do the bottom portion. You just need to cut it circular and attach it here. So I'm not showing you that. This is one very important part, like how to do the draping of a contour fitting. So I hope you like this video, and you'll be practicing this, and you can actually have a mindset which is very clear that according to the curvature of the body, you just have to imagine to pull the fabric, place it properly, so that no excess puckering and gathering appear, and I think you can hit the bullseye and make exactly what the replica of the sketch is going to be. Okay, so I hope you will be doing it and practicing it. Thank you so much for watching it. Thank you.